Hello, and welcome to Overlooked Headlines. We're the podcast designed to share headlines from America and around the world that have been disregarded or overlooked, but are critical to our lives and well-being. It's our mission to inform with the headlines and then inspire through biblical words, which we call His Lines, that once heard and applied will help to strengthen our faith in God as we navigate this journey called life. Now, here's the host of Overlooked Headlines, Jeff Bass.
We are living in times where technology is advancing faster than wisdom. Science is discovering things we never imagined, and artificial intelligence is raising questions the Bible warned about thousands of years ago. Every week, there are headlines that flash across the screen, but the real stories, the ones that tell us where our culture is going, are often the ones nobody stops to think about. Today, on Overlooked Headlines, we're looking at stories that may seem unrelated at first, but when you put them together, they paint a picture of a world moving very fast and not always in the right direction. From flying taxis being tested across America, to a surprising study about caffeine and the brain, to the rise of artificial intelligence agents and whether we may be watching a modern-day Tower of Babel unfold right in front of us. I'm your host, Jeff Bass, and these are the headlines you may not be hearing anywhere else, but you should be. We begin with a story that sounds like something straight out of the future, but according to federal officials, the future may already be here. First headline, air taxi trials approved in 26 states under federal pilot program. Air taxis, which are flying vehicles designed to transport people across cities, are now being approved for testing in more than half the country under a federal pilot program that could change the way Americans travel. What once sounded like science fiction is now being treated as the next step in transportation. And while many see this as progress, others are asking whether our technology is moving faster than our ability to understand the consequences. The U.S. Department of Transportation has approved a pilot program to test electric air taxis in 26 states, with trials scheduled to begin this summer, federal officials announced. The program aims to accelerate the integration of electric vehicle takeoff and landing aircraft into the national airspace. The 3-year initiative is designed to position U.S. firms at the forefront of next-generation aviation technologies. The federal government selected 8 proposals out of 30 submissions to participate in its Advanced Air Mobility and Integration Pilot Program. Officials said the program's goal is to allow for real-world testing of what the Federal Aviation Administration calls an exciting window into the future of aviation. A department spokesman said the 26 participating states were selected based on applications submitted to the department, which required companies to partner with state, local, tribal, or territorial governments. The selected proposals span work across 26 states and include a range of public entities and private companies developing operational concepts for urban and regional air taxi and cargo services. State and local authorities will coordinate with operators on specific trial locations and flight paths. The program requires operators to work directly with these local governments according to program guidelines. Now, this structure is intended to address local concerns and infrastructure needs from the outset of testing. The trials will involve aircraft commonly referred to as air taxis. These are battery-powered aircraft designed for short urban and suburban passenger trips, according to company specs. The concept of an electric flying taxi designed for vertical takeoff and landing has been in development for several years by startups and aerospace firms. For instance, one company's prototype features an egg-shaped cabin on top of landing gear with a pair of wings designed to take off vertically, transition to forward flight, and land vertically. Proponents argue the technology could reduce ground traffic congestion by moving some travel into the airspace. However, critics have cited concerns over noise and the infrastructure required to support these operations. Researchers have previously noted that such aircraft may only offer environmental benefits compared to conventional cars over longer commutes, and could generate more pollution over shorter distances. The aircraft tested will include various designs, such as multi-propeller craft capable of taking off and landing in tight spaces for short urban hops. Data collected from the summer trials will inform future regulatory decisions, according to the Department of Transportation. Also, industry representatives have stated that successful trials are a critical step toward commercial service. The timeline for any potential broader deployment remains undetermined, according to officials. While technology is pushing the limits of what we can build, scientists are also continuing to study the limits of the human brain. And one new report is getting a lot of attention for what it says about something millions of people use every day. Our second headline: study shows high caffeine intake linked to reduced dementia risk. A new study suggests that higher caffeine intake may be linked to a lower risk of dementia and cognitive decline. For many people, that morning cup of coffee is just part of the routine, but researchers now say it may actually have long-term effects on brain health. As populations age and concerns about memory loss continue to grow, studies like this are getting serious attention. But even stories like this remind us that science is always learning, always discovering, and sometimes what we thought we knew changes over time. A daily cup of coffee or tea may do more than wake you up. It could also help keep your brain sharp as you age. New research tracking hundreds of thousands of people over decades suggests that moderate caffeine consumption is linked to a lower risk of developing dementia. A recently published study followed over 100,000 people for up to 43 years and found that those who drank 2 to 3 cups of caffeinated coffee or 1 to 2 cups of tea daily had a lower risk of developing dementia than those who drank little or no caffeine. Dr. Daniel Wang, an associate scientist, and his team tracked participants from 2 long-term studies of medical professionals with startling ages, typically in their mid-40s to early 50s. They found that people who drank between 1 and 5 8-ounce cups of caffeinated coffee had an 18% reduced risk of dementia, and those who drank caffeinated tea daily had a roughly 15% reduced risk. Interestingly, the benefits plateaued beyond 2.5 cups of coffee daily, possibly because the body can't process higher amounts of the beneficial compounds in these beverages. Scientists propose that caffeine might protect the brain by reducing inflammation and improving blood vessel function. It may also enhance insulin sensitivity, which is important because diabetes is a risk factor for dementia due to the increased risk of heart disease and stroke. During the study, 11,033 participants developed dementia, confirmed through medical records or death certificates. Now, the findings held regardless of genetic risk factors for Alzheimer's or other dementias. The study also looked at subjective cognitive decline, which is people's perceptions that their memory and thinking skills are slipping. Those who drank more caffeine were less likely to report such issues. Among women over 70, those who drank more caffeine scored better on cognitive tests, indicating slower cognitive decline by about 7 months. The better cognition among tea and coffee drinkers may come from caffeine's ability to increase dopamine and acetylcholine in the brain, which are important for memory and cognition. The study didn't track whether participants added milk or sugar, which could influence health effects. Some experts note that drinking more than 4 cups a day offers no additional benefits and could even be harmful, potentially disrupting sleep or increasing anxiety. While our results are encouraging, it's important to remember that the effect size is small and there are lots of important ways to protect cognitive function as we age. Our study suggests that caffeinated coffee or tea consumption can be one piece of that puzzle, according to Wang. However, others note that there are risks associated with increasing caffeine intake, especially for older adults or those with certain health conditions. Additionally, coffee acts as a diuretic, which can lead to dehydration, a concern given that most adults already fall short of the recommended 8 glasses of water a day. So, some doctors tell their patients that for each cup of coffee, they should drink a glass of water because dehydration can lead to altered mental status, confusion, and kidney damage. Finally, older people should be careful about caffeine intake because it can disrupt sleep, which itself is a risk factor for cognitive decline. Poor sleep can impair cognition, causing increased confusion or brain fog and increased dementia risk over time. We say, as always, consult your physician before embarking on any new study. Now, let me stop and thank all of our wonderful viewers and listeners for all of your support. By the way, we're coming up on a milestone in a few weeks, and keep listening for more details regarding that event. Stay connected with us, like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell. Follow us on Instagram, leave your comments, share, and check out our Patreon. Stay where you are. I've got more overlooked headlines.
Still to come, our top headline. And don't miss his lines right here on Overlooked Headlines.
Now, our final headline today may be the most thought-provoking of all because it raises a question that goes beyond science, beyond health, and even beyond technology. As AI becomes more advanced, some experts are starting to ask a question that sounds very familiar to anyone who knows the Bible. Are we building something again that looks like the Tower of Babel? Our third headline is the rise of AI agents, a new Tower of Babel. Artificial intelligence agents are becoming more powerful, more independent, and more capable of working together without human control. Supporters say this is the next great leap forward. Critics say we may be creating systems we no longer fully understand. And some are pointing back to the story in Genesis when humanity came together to build something great, but left God out of the plan. And that raises a question worth thinking about. When man keeps building higher, but stops looking upward, what happens next? AI is rapidly transforming the modern world, from business and education to finance and communication. AI systems are becoming deeply embedded in everyday life. What once seemed like science fiction is now reality. Governments, corporations, and technology leaders are investing billions of dollars into AI development, believing it will shape the future of civilization. One of the more striking warnings came from Yuval Harari of the World Economic Forum. He said that AI may soon dominate language itself, declaring that, quote, everything made of words will be taken over, end quote. If such a statement were to come to pass, it would include books, news, legal documents, educational materials, digital communication, and even religious writings. Also, a new phase of artificial intelligence is emerging called agentic AI, systems designed not just to respond to questions, but to act independently toward goals. One example of this is Microsoft's AutoGen framework, which allows multiple AI agents to communicate with one another to complete complex tasks. Rather than a single chatbot answering questions, these systems create an entire team of AI agents that collaborate. Such a systems agents exchange messages with one another, refine their work, and complete assignments with little human involvement. Developers often describe this process as creating a digital workforce of AI employees. For example, a user might simply request, build me a website. Behind the scenes, AI agents could plan the project, write the code, test for errors, improve quality, and deliver the final product. The entire process happens through machines communicating with other machines. Technology leaders are already exploring how AI agents could run entire business operations. In theory, AI systems could manage marketing departments, supply chains, financial portfolios, customer support, and contract negotiations. Some futurists even envision a world where AI agents transact directly with one another. Such a scenario, one company's AI could hire another company's AI. Pricing could be negotiated automatically, agreements could be signed digitally, and payment processed without human oversight. This model could allow small businesses to operate with the capabilities of large corporations. While such efficiency may sound appealing, it also raises profound questions about human control, accountability, and ethical responsibility. As AI continues to advance, many technologists discuss a concept known as singularity. Have you heard about that? The singularity refers to a moment when AI surpasses human intelligence and becomes improving itself without human guidance. Some proponents believe this could lead to extraordinary breakthroughs, while others warn it could fundamentally alter civilization. Discussions around experimental networks of AI agents communicating with one another have fueled concerns that machines could begin operating in ways that humans no longer fully understand. Some experimental systems have even demonstrated the ability to hold conversations with other AI agents privately, raising questions about transparency and oversight. While these developments remain in early stages, they illustrate how rapidly technology is evolving. Another emerging category of AI systems is designed to perform real-world actions for users. These digital assistants can read emails, manage calendars, browse the internet, shop online, book travel, write messages, and organize documents. Users might simply say, "Clear my inbox," or "book my flight," or "summarize my meetings." The AI system then completes these tasks automatically. Some platforms even store long-term memory files about the user, remembering preferences, past actions, and ongoing projects, so the AI behaves more like a persistent digital assistant than a temporary chatbot. Wow. While this technology can provide convenience, it also requires extensive personal data, including passwords, your financial information, and private communications. Security experts warn that such systems must be handled carefully because they hold information that could be valuable to criminals if compromised. So, as technology continues to grow, as science continues to discover, and as AI continues to develop, the real question may not be what we're capable of doing, but whether we remember that the Creator, Father God, is the only one we are supposed to look to and answer to, because history shows that when mankind moves forward without God, confusion eventually follows. We'll watch this story. Don't move, his lines are coming up.
Hey, if you're enjoying this episode, then we'll think you'll love connecting with us on our social media platforms as well, because we post frequent news bites, tips, and alerts to keep you informed and inspired. Now, let's get back to more overlooked headlines with Jeff Bass.
Now it's time for his lines, where we take a closer look at these headlines from a biblical perspective taken from the Bible, God's Word. Today's his lines comes from the question raised in our final headline, the rise of AI and whether what we are seeing today looks like a modern day Tower of Babel. You see, in Genesis chapter 11, the Bible tells the story of people who came together to build something great, impressive, and advanced for their time. But there was one problem. They wanted progress without God. And the result was confusion. And that raises a serious question for our time. Are we doing the same thing? Well, first, when man seeks unity without God, it leads to pride. Genesis 11:4 reads, "Then they said, 'Come, let's build a great city for ourselves with a tower that reaches into the sky. This will make us famous and keep us from being scattered all over the world.'" The people of Babel were not building for God. They were building for themselves. There's nothing wrong with progress, but there is something dangerous about pride. When mankind believes he no longer needs God, he starts building things he does not fully understand. Secondly, when man builds higher than his wisdom, God allows confusion. Genesis 11:7 says, "Come, let's go down and confuse the people with different languages. Then they won't be able to understand each other." God did not destroy the tower because he feared it. He stopped the tower because man was not ready for what he was building. Sometimes confusion is not judgment. Sometimes confusion is protection. When knowledge increases faster than wisdom, trouble follows. And today we are watching technology advance faster than character, faster than maturity, and even faster than spiritual understanding. Finally, when God is left out, man always loses control. Proverbs 14:12 declares, there is a way which seems right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Every generation believes it is the smartest generation. Every generation believes it can go further than the last. But the Bible reminds us that when God is left out of the plan never ends the way man expects. We are now creating machines that learn, systems that think, and technology that can act on its own. The question is not, can we build it? The question is, should we build it without God? The Tower of Babel was not destroyed because man was creative. It was stopped because man was proud. And today, as we watch the rise of artificial intelligence, global technology, and systems that connect the whole world together, we should remember something Scripture already told us, which is when man builds without God, confusion always follows. And that's not my line. That's his lines. For Overlooked Headlines, I'm Jeff Bass. Be blessed. I'll catch you next week. And remember to stay informed, stay aware, and as always, stay overlooked.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you've been informed and inspired. Like us, tell a friend, and connect with us via Facebook, YouTube, or email us at neveroverlooked@gmail.com. That's neveroverlooked@gmail.com. Check us out next time on Overlooked Headlines with Jeff Bass.